you already moved from one place to another place? Have you ever considered moving to a different city, maybe moving to a different country? As a person who had his share in moving from one place to another place, I lived in 4 countries, I lived in various cities in all of these countries. I personally think that people underestimate moving from one place to another. A lot of people see only opportunities, only positive side of the story, but not all of the people see why people move, and on a lot of occasions, in most of the cases, people don't move from one place to another place because of good reasons. It depends, but let me elaborate about that in this video. Let's go! But before we begin, I have to tell you that this is Yury Experience, and here I share my various experiences about different topics. I currently produce one piece of content per week, and if you will enjoy this piece of content, then leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, do what is possible on the platform of your choice. Let's go! Let's start with one important point that I already covered in another video, and that is traveling is not equal to living. And here I'm talking about traveling to different city, like one-day travel, or maybe some road trips, or traveling to another country. People mistake this traveling experience with living in a country, living in a place experience. People think that the life that they experience during their travels is same with the life that people experience who live in that locations, who need to deal with everyday struggles of that specific location. For example, a lot of people from Western European countries like to travel to Eastern European countries because of the prices over there. For average Western European citizen, prices in Eastern Europe are relatively low. So you think automatically, I would like to move there. It would be great to live there because I have so much money in comparison to average person in there. But if you are living in there, if you are living in Eastern European country, one of them, there are a lot of countries with different states of life, but like on average, in that country you earn the money that people earn in that country, and for them the prices are normal. And as long as you not work in Western European country but live in Eastern European country, you don't profit from this difference. Similarly, a lot of people don't like traveling to Scandinavia because Scandinavia is so expensive. But for people in Scandinavia, Scandinavia is not expensive. People who work there, who earn Scandinavian salary, for them the prices are normal. But for people outside of their countries, the prices are high. Now that we covered the difference between traveling and moving to a different location, living in another location, let's cover the main disadvantage, and that is leaving everything that you have behind. Obviously, it depends on what type of moving you are doing. Do you move from one part of the street to another part of the street? Or do you move from one city to a neighboring city? Or do you move maybe from one country to a different country? The amount of things that you will lose thanks to the fact that you are moving is different. The most obvious thing that you will lose are material goods. You will probably lose some furniture, you will probably lose some things that you cannot take with you for this travel, and you cannot always buy this stuff that you are missing right now straight ahead. And also, moving itself is expensive normally, traveling from one place to another location, bringing stuff with you from one location to another location. You need money for that, which means on a lot of occasions you'll leave stuff behind. You leave material stuff behind you, and sometimes it is a good thing because you can like throw away stuff that you actually don't need and only keep the stuff that you actually need. But on the other hand, sometimes stuff is too heavy or stuff is too big and you cannot take it with you to a new location, to a new place, to a new city, to a new country. And that's the moment where you need to leave it here, maybe sell it. If you're lucky, you can sell it for some price, but it doesn't mean that you will be able to buy same stuff in a new location. Which means for quite some time you will need to live with less, to deal with less, which is okay for a lot of people, but you need to consider it. You will not move to a new location and you will have there everything provided to you. Again, depends on the situation, but in a lot of situations. Another thing that you will lose when you move to a new location, which is more important in my personal opinion than this financial stuff, is social life. You will lose your connections that you built in the location where you are living prior to now. Again, if you move down the street, it is one story. But if you move to a different country, then on a lot of occasions, like 60-70% of all the relationships that you built up till that point will be thrown away, and other 30% will be kept like on some low level because you cannot meet people. You will not be able to interact with people directly, so all you can do is write people over a phone. So nowadays it is better than it was like 20 years ago, or have some video calls or whatnot, but you will not have this opportunity, this possibility to have direct interaction. And it is not the only problem. In the location where you are living, you know where is everything. You know where is the next grocery store. You know whom you can trust with your hair or maybe with the repairment of your couch. You know where these people are. You have these social connections to a lot of people, not friends. Just some people you know, but you have this connection. You know how to deal with life in the place that you are living in. But when you move to a new place, you need to find everything in you. You need to find all the connections. You need to find out where is the good grocery store, who is a good hairdresser in that location. Maybe there are none and you need to travel for quite some time each time when you want to have your hair cut. And it sounds like a small problem, but you have one small problem there, another small problem there, and all of this accumulates to a big, huge problem that you have to build your social life from 0 to 100 basically in short amount of time, as good as you can. And all of that, on a lot of occasions, again not always, without having any support in your location, without having support of your family, maybe because your family still lives in another country, or without support of your friends. You don't have everything when you move to new country. Sometimes you have, sometimes you move with your family, but on a lot of occasions people move alone or only with their family, like their husband, wife and children, and they don't have help of their parents or help of their cousins and whatnot. They have to build everything basically alone. So why people do it? Why people sacrifice so much of their life, so much of their time, so much of their money, so much of their resources for this opportunity to live in another location? The main reason, based on my understanding, people hope that life in the new location will be so good, so much better than their life in the previous location, that it will cover all these problems, it will cover all of these sacrifices, and the life will be better. Maybe after some time, maybe for their children even, not for themselves, but for their children, life will be better, so this sacrifice makes sense for them. A lot of families, or sometimes even parts of families, move to another country, to another city for financial reasons. Maybe some job opportunities, maybe better salaries, which people hope then to spend the salary on a higher state of life, or people send the money back to their family. So a lot of countries, it is more or less usual to send the man to another country to work in another country, and then send money back to their family in their home country. Is it a good system? No, I don't think so, but it exists, and it is something that some people have to deal with not being able to earn money in the country you are living in, or not being able to earn enough money in the country you are living in, and being ready to sacrifice some parts of your life for a greater good of your family, for example. Speaking of state of life is another reason why people would sacrifice a lot to earn something from their life. People sometimes hope that their life will become better when they move to another country. They hope to enjoy all the good things, good state of life things that exist in their new country. And obviously it is connected to financial opportunities, but it is not always the case. Sometimes people move only because of state of life questions, because life in their location is so not enjoyable for these people that they think there it is better. Maybe I will even earn less money, but I will not have to think about this problem. For example, infrastructure problem, or for example, problem with medical assistance in my city. I will not have to deal with this because this problem is solved over there better, so I will better move there instead of trying to somehow live here. And the worst state of life, or one of the worst state of lives that are in the country or in the city, is war. People running from war is one of the big reasons for people to move from one place to another place. Not always for the whole time. Sometimes this moving is temporarily, but sometimes people stay. People move to a different country because of war and stay there. And this case is one of the worst reasons to move, because normally people are not prepared for war, you know? People don't prepare, don't pack everything, don't sell their houses or their furnitures. They are not ready to move. But then war starts and they have to run, literally, and now people have to throw away everything. Not because they want to, but because they have to. Not because people search for better opportunities in life, people run from not being killed. And all of that without sometimes having a piece of money on their shoulder, however you can call it. So they don't have any money at all, because that's nowhere to come. A lot of people live from salary to salary, and they own an apartment, but if that apartment is destroyed by war, then that apartment costs nothing. And all three of these reasons say pretty much the same stuff. People don't move to another country because of good reasons. They move away from bad reasons. In the end, I want to react to one thing that people told me personally in a lot of occasions, and that is, it's so great that you moved from country to country, you had so many experiences that you could gather thanks to the fact that you moved from country to country. And although I mostly agree with the fact, I'm very proud of my experiences, there are downsides to it. I almost don't have childhood friends. I have some of them, they are living in Ukraine, but most of my childhood friends I lost contact a long time ago. I had to rebuild my social life from 0 to 100 3 times. And it is not a very enjoyable process. It takes some time, it takes some skill, it takes some knowledge how to do it better or worse, and I'm at least not as bad at it, but it still is a lot of efforts that you need to put in. And you need to be ready to sacrifice. And I sacrificed a couple of things in my life. An example, wedding. I was invited to one wedding of 2 weddings of my friends, but I was in other country at the moment of the wedding, so I couldn't attend them. And for a lot of friends, they didn't even think about inviting me because the contact was lost at the moment. There was no reason. I wasn't part of their life anymore. Obviously, it is a pity. You lose something. Each time you move to a new location, you lose something. And sometimes it is a good thing. A lot of people move to a new location because they want to lose their social life, because their social life wasn't as good. But when your life was good, you lose something good for maybe something better. Not always it is actually better. And for people who always live in one place, although again, I say my experiences are great, but there is some envy that I have towards people who live in one place their whole life, who have this social life, their social connections, who married their childhood sweethearts and whatnot. I will never be able to do it. Maybe my children, when I'm lucky, but I will never be able to have childhood friends, like having them in my life all the time, because my only childhood friends that I have right now live in Ukraine. My longest connections that I have right now are 10 years, like around 10 years, since the moment I moved to Germany. My longest friendships that are active friendships. I have active friendship with my friends in Ukraine, but I don't see them as much. And although we try to meet or talk to each other regularly, it is obviously easier for them to contact each other since they are living in the same country than it is for me to contact them, especially nowadays, you know, with war. So basically I have to deal with the fact that some of the things I will never recover. It will never happen. It is not something that can magically appear in my life, and I deal with it. I live with it, and there are worse things to have. But I just want to remind you that everything that comes good in life comes with something bad. Life is more or less in equilibrium all the time. So if something greatly good happens in the life of that person, you need to think what that person have to sacrifice for that. And moving from one place to another and being accomplished in a new location comes with the price of leaving everything behind in the previous location. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this piece of content. If it is the case, please drop a like and also subscribe to the channel. You can also leave a comment, and I see you next Monday. Have a great week.